What's up everybody, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be comparing online school and traditional public schools here in the US. Okay, so a little bit of background on me. I am a senior in high school and I'm going to be graduating here in like the next couple of months. So yeah, I have been in online school for the past 5 years. I went to a traditional public school for 7 years up until 7th grade, and from 8th grade onwards I have been in online school. The specific school that I go to is Indiana Connections Academy, or actually a branch of Indiana Connections Academy, Indiana Connections Career Academy. And that is a branch of Connections Academy. Connections Academy has I think a branch in almost all of the US states. So I went to Indiana Connections Academy for 3 years, and the last 2 years, 11th and 12th grade, I have been going to Career Academy. For purposes in this video, I'm going to be calling Indiana Connections Academy INCA and Indiana Connections Career Academy INCC. Those are the abbreviations for the two branches of Connections Academy. INCC has asked me not to show any screenshots or video of the homepage for the school, so I will not be doing that. I will be sort of describing it. So the homepage has a list of your teachers, and it has a list of the classes for today, as well as conference calls or things that you could have with your teachers. And in INCC, INCA, and all that, we call those live lessons, because that's kind of what they are. They're live lessons. So this conversation about online school versus traditional schools has been sort of brought up recently, mainly due to the virus that is going around. Many traditional schools are switching for the time being to online schools, very horribly in my opinion. They are using Zoom, which has a lot of privacy issues. Not a very good application for conference calls that I have seen. My school specifically, INCC, uses Adobe Connect. Much better in my opinion. It requires the teacher to actually allow you into the room once you go to the link, which is a very good security feature. So one complaint I hear a lot about online schools, especially right now because of a lot of the traditional schools are switching to the online stuff for now, is the infrastructure in place and the fact that there's not very good communication between teachers and students. I have heard a lot about this from a lot of different reviews of online schools. I can say that in Connections Academy, and specifically the Indiana branches, that is not a problem. The infrastructure that Connections Academy has in place is fantastic, and I think that is mainly due to the fact that they're national, and a lot of the resources are shared between the different branches. And in Connections Academy specifically, you can have lessons or courses that are specific to your state, and also national courses that are the same curriculum everywhere across the US, that they have branches at least. I think a lot of the electives are national courses, and then there are some electives that are state specific. So my school uses a lot of different external sites for teaching as well, such as Khan Academy, which I think is fantastic. They use other external sites. So for computer science, they were using CodeHS, which is a sort of like online thing that teaches code. And yeah, there's a little bit of differences between Career Academy and the normal Indiana branch, even in terms of how the lessons are done. So computer science was done differently in my branch of Indiana Connections Academy, the Career Academy branch. It was done differently. Don't know why. I did contact the teacher saying that I liked that it was done differently. My brother was doing the normal computer science, and it was outdated. That mainly has to do with the curriculum that they're using, though, and the book that they're using. In my opinion, it was just outdated because the IDE that they were using. Anyways, enough said about that. That's not even important here. What's important is how good the teaching is. So the teaching is fantastic in online school. Mainly the problems that you'll be having is not due to the quality of the teaching. It is due to your learning style. If you do not need very much social interaction, online school might be better for you. It's definitely not the best in terms of social interaction. There are field trips that you can go to. There is social interaction that you can be a part of. It's just not nearly as much as with a traditional school. Now, the actual lessons in online school are fairly simple, and you can get done with a lot of them pretty quickly. Online school is something that you can schedule yourself pretty much. You still have to go mostly by state guidelines. You still have to do the same amount of school a week that is set by the state. Another thing with the lessons is it is mostly reading. For the first 3 years or so, I used the text-to-speech that Mac OS uses. I switched to Windows and I was like, I can't read anymore. That wasn't too much of a problem. I got used to reading again within like the first month or so. Reading is perfectly fine for me now. So yeah, they're mostly reading material. You can, there's like arrows at the bottom to go in between the different pages. There's also listening material, there's videos, there's a whole bunch of different stuff. There's video transcripts for the for the videos. There's transcripts as well for people who, can't hear. There's quite a bit of different accessibility features in online school, which I think is very good. Actual assessments are mostly multiple choice questions. Almost all of the classes do have a couple assessments. Like English, it's like every assessment has a little short answer box where you can do anything in between basically a one paragraph or even like a one sentence answer to a 3 to 5 paragraph essay. Most essays bigger than 5 paragraphs that are like a couple pages long or something, those will be what is called a portfolio, which is where you create a document in Word, PowerPoint, or something like that, and you basically just submit it into a Dropbox to your teacher. Honestly, I think overall online school is a very good alternative to normal school. You can get away with a budget laptop, but if you want to do the electives that you are most interested in, if they're computer related, or even art related, honestly, you will have to have a decent computer, and by decent computer, I mean best case scenario, you got a good desktop. I would say for sort of a spending guide for online school, kind of, you should get a $600 desktop. It can be less expensive. You can get a less expensive desktop if you build one yourself, buy the components, build it at home. You can get one that's like $400. That is perfectly fine for most things, even 3D modeling and rendering, although, probably won't get the job done super quickly, specifically for rendering. And then later, if you decide that you need a portable computer, just get a used laptop from eBay or somewhere like that, and that should work perfectly fine for that, mainly because most people probably won't be doing things like 3D modeling, rendering, and making games or anything taxing on the computer like that with a laptop. There are a lot of resources that you can use in online school, a lot of different things that you can get around. Honestly, if you do not know much about technology, I would just say get a laptop and do online school, or get a desktop and do online school. Don't mess around with trying to use an iPad. Don't mess around with trying to use a phone. Don't mess around with that, because that can just lead to issues. The only thing that is really supported the best with our school, or the school that I go to, is Windows 10 on either a laptop or a desktop. That is mainly because most of the electives will work with Windows 10 all the time. All of them will actually. All of them will work with Windows 10. All of them have proper tutorials for Windows 10. Some of them that say they'll work with a Mac do not have proper tutorials. I've worked with a teacher in the past to actually get them to update some of these tutorials for Mac OS. If you are not going to be doing electives that are super technologically based, you can get away easily with using Mac OS or even Linux. And even the technologically based ones, you can get around the Windows 10 stuff if you know how to use that operating system properly. But yeah, in short, most people probably think that they need to be technologically inclined to use or be a part of online school. That's not true. It baffles me every day how many people I would see on a live lesson. It baffles me on how many of them do not know how computers work. But apparently they're doing very well with online school. So yeah, I would say online school is a good fit for a lot of people who do not really like traditional public school. And honestly, you can go to online school for maybe just like a short time, maybe just a year. Figure out if you like it or not. But yeah, making this video mainly because the little virus that's going around has made a lot of people to make videos on online school. A lot of them are making videos about specifically the public traditional schools going to online. Most of them are talking about that and not talking about how proper online schools that do have the infrastructure do still teach properly and can still teach properly with all of this going on. The biggest problem currently with the online school stuff is the fact that most schools are using Zoom. That is obviously not a good choice if you know anything about what is going on. There's a lot of privacy issues in regards to Zoom. And yeah, Zoom's just not a good choice. Please, just use Adobe Connect. Please. It's just not a good choice to use Zoom. Adobe Connect will work with phones. You do need an application for Adobe Connect. Although it can work with Adobe Flash Player still, as far as I know, can work with Adobe Flash Player. So yeah, with online school, the only thing that would really be holding you back from being in online school, in my opinion, is the social interaction. And honestly, it's not that crazy in online school. You don't have very much social interaction. There is field trips that you can go to. I don't go to them. I don't really care about social interaction at all. I've been self-isolating for the past 5 years. Now that I said that, I feel very sad. Okay, but in all seriousness, if you really need social interaction, you can still find alternatives out there. Go outside, walk around with friends. You can do that sort of stuff. It's not that crazy. It's just you can't talk to friends during school hours if you have friends that go to public school. But yeah, online school is a very interesting thing that is, I kind of like that it's being put out into the mainstream conversation now. It's just most people don't know what they're talking about when it comes to how actual online schools are doing things. Most of them have better infrastructure, especially Connections Academy. A lot of the state-specific online schools, they're not that good in terms of infrastructure. They have had a lot of complaints in many states. Connections Academy, as far as I am aware of, have not had very many complaints at all, if any. I've not seen any myself. But yeah, I think it's awesome. You have to stay in contact with teachers in online school due to state guidelines. Not hard to do. You can easily talk to a teacher, just give them a call. They got contact information. You can give them a call. And there's a school-specific thing, sort of mirrors what email is. It's called webmail. You can just webmail a teacher, which is very useful. And like I said, there's things called live lessons through an Adobe Connect. There's like a chat pod for students to talk. There's like a raise hand function, so the teacher can see if you've raised your hand. You just click a little raise hand button. And yeah, the teachers sometimes have a webcam, they sometimes don't. They are usually dictating what's going on the screen. They've got like, they can draw on the screen and everything, and you can see what they're doing. It's very cool. You can use the chat pod, the chat box, to sort of answer questions. There's like a private chat box that they can put up there where you can answer questions in there, and the teacher just waits until everyone's answered the question, and that makes it easier to see if everyone's answered the question or not, instead of chatting in the text box that's for all of the students. The teacher also can just take out the chat box if people are not on topic when they're talking in the chat box, which I think is a very good thing. Most of the teachers are definitely educated pretty well on how how Adobe Connect works, how they can use it, and how this whole online school works in general. Most of the teachers that I have seen have taught at least 3 years overall. I think one of my teachers that I've had taught like 10 years or something and 4 years in online school. And that was pretty cool. That teacher was one of my best online school teachers. I definitely think online school is much better than the experience that I had in traditional public school. And that's probably just because I was in a small public school, very small school system, not very good infrastructure, not very many class opportunities. There wasn't very many electives in terms of technology-related electives. And that's one of the main reasons why we switched to online school. And that's not meant as any sort of insult towards any of my teachers that I had in the school that I used to go to. I actually liked many of those teachers. Some of those teachers were the best teachers I've ever had. But yeah, online school is a new thing, very interesting to some people. I just thought I'd give some of my experience in this video of online school and what I think comparing it to normal school. Well, I think it is better. But yeah, hope you all liked the video, and I'll see you all in the next video.